So you started creating your own reality. Now what? This video is for anyone who's been researching law of attraction, manifestation, and has started actually taking steps to create their own reality. If that's you, this video is going to give you what you should expect as you start walking in whatever vision or whatever meditation it is that you've created for your life. Now, the first thing that I want to ask you is, what are you creating? Do you know what that end goal is? Have you started with the end, or are you just taking steps blindly into the void? When you start creating your reality, one of the easiest and most dangerous laws that we run into is the law of assumption. This is why when a lot of metaphysical and life coaches, law of attraction coaches, teachers talk about starting from the end, this is part of the reason why. When you start from the end, meaning you're creating your vision from an assumption of success. And now you're looking back at all of the things that aligned in order for you to achieve that success. Now, thinking from that perspective, you're resting in that feeling of accomplishment. You're looking back at the situation as something that's already happened, not something that you're waiting to happen, regardless of the fact that your physical reality may display chaos all around you. So here you are trying to live, breathe, move, and operate within a mental state that reflects that reality that you see in the end. You see how that creates a conflict with your world, especially if you're looking years into the future. If you don't even have a business, but you're thinking if in a mental state of a CEO. If you've never created an artwork, but you see your art all throughout some type of a gallery. Whatever your vision is for you, if you're living from that state and walking around in that state, it's going to rub some people the wrong way, especially if you're in a position where there's people who expect you to be subservient to them, expect you to be subordinate to them. But your vision calls for you to have a level of confidence that they're not used to, not coming from you. So here you are trying to change your life to better yourself. And unfortunately, it starts rubbing people the wrong way. These are some of the things that you need to look out for when you start creating your reality. Because at the end of the day, you have to realize if you're creating a reality, that means that a reality has to shatter. And when your previous reality starts shattering, if it shakes you out of your mental state, that state of accomplishment, that state of knowing that you are, that state of essentially walking on water, then now you're creating something differently. Now you're creating something that is a representative of that state that you've been pushed into. This is why we talk about things like the Hermetic principles and how to escape the backward swing of rhythm, because rhythm compensates in everything. Everything moves and vibrates, and it moves and vibrates according to a certain rhythm. So the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. You start creating your reality, you're shattering this old reality. It's going to feel like a negative or a backward swing of a pendulum. There's going to be potentially negative repercussions of that. And you have to be aware of that if you're going to think of yourself as a real metaphysician and think of yourself as someone who is applying the laws of God. We're not talking about some business class or anything like that. We're talking about how to create any reality. It doesn't matter what reality it is. Yes, there may be specific things that you need to do to create a specific business or to go down a specific path. But I promise you, The people, places, and situations that you need to encounter will line themselves up, but it starts up here. So what my goal is just to get a spark up here so that you can begin resonating at that frequency of the life that you want to live in. So now you're creating thought forms for that, from that frequency. And that's going out. When you're operating with people, you're operating from that frequency. And yeah, they may look at you, and in the beginning, it may be like, oh, yeah, something is a little off, as the ripples of your vibration changes the outer world, the layer of your world around you. But I promise you, if you hold to your state, hold on to your vision, and continue to walk and take inspired action. So when you see your world crumbling, you don't just sit there and wallow in it and let it crumble around you as you just, like a kid in the sand waiting for somebody to pick you up and move you somewhere else. No, you recognize that you are the creator of this. And your world crumbling is like the universe opening up to you and saying, okay, we want to see if you are about what it is that you're claiming to be. This state that you're walking in, can you take the inspired action behind it? We're going to meet you every step of the way. Meaning the closer that you turn to God, the nearer that you turn to God, the nearer that he turns to you. Almost like you're looking in a mirror. And now you begin to understand what it means when texts like the Bible say that we're made in the image of God. The nearer you draw to him, the nearer he draws to you. And now miraculous circumstances begin to take place. You just had a thought of something, and screw seeing a search image on Facebook or something like that. You got some random person that walks up to you with an opportunity that is in alignment with something that you simply thought. No technology could do that. That's the work of God. When I tell you this stuff is a new way of thinking, and if you can just change your thoughts, be aware of your thoughts, be aware of what it is that you're creating, be aware of how the bridge of incidents appears as you start creating your reality, so that you're not shaken out of your state when you encounter a little bit of difficulty. If you can just understand the principles at play, when we talk about everything moving and vibrating, polarization existing in everything. So things like hot and cold are just two different degrees of the same thing. Every emotion that you experience has its opposite. So every negative emotion that you experience, you can polarize yourself to that opposite. You can do that so that when you're in a situation that normally would have crumbled you because of the difficulty of having to filter through that negative emotion, you have tools and techniques to polarize yourself to the higher vibration of that emotion, simply because you have the knowledge that the opposite exists and that you are in control of your mental state at any point in time, no matter what the situation is around you. This is mastery. This is the next level. This is the application of all of the tools that we've been learning. Now, if you feel lost by this video, I challenge you to go back and listen to my videos on the Hermetic principles. Listen to my videos on the law. Listen to my videos on reality transurfing. Listen to my videos where I'm covering scripture. People love to downplay scriptures like the Bible. And I don't look at some of these newer translations. I understand what those are. But if we look at the Hebrew text, the original King James Version, the Hebrew text and the original King James Version, that's not a book of historical events, even though it may allude to historical events. It's a book about you. It's a book about me. It's a book about a spiritual history, about all these different frequencies that we can occupy. And when you look at it from that perspective, the book takes on a new life. And when you start to apply it to your different situations in life, you start to see how the keys are right there. How at every given point in time, Source is reaching out to you and saying, I will meet you wherever you want to meet me. Because I am you. And you are me. Now, when you begin to create your reality and the bridge of incidents appears and your old world falls apart behind you, a lot of people get stuck in front of that bridge. They don't want to move forward because the comfort that they're so used to is falling apart. And they can't see beyond the smoke and the fog in front of them. And they can't trust and hold on to that mental state because they didn't start with the end. I tell you this now. Trust. The I am of you is the presence of God. And you can never be away from it. You can go to the bottom of the ocean. It'll be right there with you. Natural law may play a part if you don't have breathing gear, so please don't do that. But it doesn't change the fact that God is with you. Listen to the lectures that I record of Neville Goddard, Joseph Murray. Those are some of the best biblical teachers that I've encountered. Listen to the material. At first, it's going to sound bewildering to you. And then after a time, as your frequency adjusts to it, it's going to start to make sense to you. And then you're going to start to see scripture playing out in your life. And then things get real eerie because then you realize that, yeah, you can create your reality, but you also have a responsibility to your brothers and sister souls. You can have anything that you want. You can go down any path that you want, any rabbit hole that you want. And grace is there for you at the end of it. There is no lake of fire. There is no hell. There's none of that. There's just you learning how to love, learning how to create, how to be a better God. And that's what we all are. Brothers and sisters, reflections of God. All of us. We're not supposed to be standing in awe of each other and trying to subjugate one from another. It's supposed to be you see what your brothers and sisters do and you recognize that that's a side of you. And you want to see how you can make your fullest expression shine just like theirs. There's enough wealth out here for everybody. We just don't know how to let all of our light shine. And that's why you run into me, the spark. I love you. I want to see the fullest expression of you. And this is that spark to ignite that fire inside of you so that whatever it is that you want to do, you know it's possible. It's already within you.